Welcome to the season opener for the 2013 Greendale Panther football season. Tonight we have a non-conference game between Greendale and the visiting Cedarburg Bulldogs. Bulldogs are from the North Shore Conference and are said to be one of the top contenders in the conference. They like running the ball and controlling it on offense with their double wing inside running attack. This should be a good test for both teams. Greendale would be receiving first to start the game. After the return, junior quarterback Josh Ringelberg and his offense would set up on their 35. They moved fast and furious down the field with a combination of the run and the pass, but they were forced to settle for a Frankie Rakowski 24-yard field goal to go on top 3-0 with 9:34 left in the opening quarter of play. After the ensuing kick, the Cedarburg Bulldogs would bring their double wing offense out onto the field for their first drive of the game. The quick Panther defense stopped them in 3 plays, forcing them to punt from their 23-yard line. After the return, Greendale would start from their 48. 2 plays later, the Panthers would strike deep as Ringelberg threw a perfect pass to junior Cody Metz for a 44-yard touchdown pass. Rakowski made the extra point try, and Greendale now found themselves on top 10-0 with 6:12 left in the first quarter. Panthers specialty teams did a nice job on the following kick, tackling a return man inside the 13. 13 plays later, however, Cedarburg managed to find the end zone on a 1-yard run by Ben McComas. The point after try was good, making the score 10-7 with 11:55 now left in the second quarter. Greendale would find themselves starting from their 15 after the kick. This time they failed to move the sticks and were forced to punt from their 16. After a nice punt by senior Mitchell Breeze, the Bulldogs would start from their 38. 6 plays later, they found the end zone again on a beautiful catch by Jonathan Stiver from 15 yards out. The point after try was botched, but Cedarburg now found themselves on top by a score of 13-10 with 7:14 left in the first half. After the kick, Greendale would set up shop on their 31. Again, the Bulldogs held them at bay and forced them to punt, going 3 and out. After the return, Cedarburg would start from their 49. Greendale's defense was making them earn every yard, but 11 plays later, the Dogs found themselves in the end zone on a Mike Mojica to Stiver pass from 5 yards out. The try for 2 was good, and the score was now 21-10 with 1:34 left in the first half. Greendale's now sputtering offense took to the field after the kick on their 40. Somehow Ringelberg got the car started again, for on the very first play he would throw a pass in the direction of Breeze, who made an amazing catch for a 1-play, 60-yard scoring drive. The extra point was good, and now Greendale only trailed by a score of 21-17 with 1:20 left in the first half. The stunned Bulldogs would start their next drive from the 20 after Rakowski reached the end zone on the kick. They managed to get off 4 plays before the first half came to an end. Cedarburg would get the ball first to start the second half. After the return, they would start from their 11. Disaster would strike the Dogs quickly, for on the 4th play, they fumbled the ball, at which Tristan Pipp would recover for Greendale on the Bulldogs' 11. 3 plays later, Ringelberg would throw a clever little inside pitch pass to senior Nate Miller, who stumbled his way into the end zone from 8 yards out. Rakowski made the kick, and Greendale now regained the lead by a score of 24-21 with 9:23 left in the third. After the kick, Cedarburg would start on their 25. 4 plays later, the Dogs lost the ball again on a fumble, of which Jake Humschild would recover on the Bulldogs' 38. The last thing Cedarburg wanted to do was make it easy for the Panthers by giving them short fields. 7 plays later, the Panthers would capitalize on that mistake as Ringelberg connected with Miller for a 6-yard scoring strike. The point after try was good, now stretching the Panthers' lead by a score of 31-21 with 4:18 left in the third. The Bulldogs needed to shake that off to get back in this game. They did just that as running back Hudson Walton scored from 6 yards out, capping off a 5-play, 80-yard drive. The point after try was no good, but Cedarburg inched closer to Greendale with the score of 31-27 and 2:36 left in the third. The Panthers started their next drive after the kick on their 33. Again, they would show their big play capabilities as Ringelberg hooked up with Metz on a huge 65-yard scoring pass. The point after try was good, making the score 38-27 with 2:15 still left in the third quarter. It was obvious that Cedarburg was having troubles with this passing attack, and they needed to answer back quickly. Greendale now had all the momentum as they were making life very miserable for the Dogs. 3 plays later, the defense came through with an interception by Jack Ringelberg, who returned it to the Bulldogs' 27. After a late hit out-of-bounds penalty, the Panthers found themselves with another short field as they lined up on the 12-yard line. Plays later, Ringelberg would find Metz wide open in the end zone for a 6-yard scoring strike. Rakowski was true again, and Greendale now had a commanding lead with the score of 45-27 and 11:39 now left in the game. Greendale now has forced Cedarburg out of their style of offense, for they knew that they would have to throw in order to get points fast due to the fact that the clock was running out. After the kick, Cedarburg would be starting from their 14. They tried 3 plays, of which all were incomplete, forcing them to punt from their 14. On that punt play, Cedarburg dodged a bullet as Breeze would return the kick all the way to the end zone, but it would be called back on a block in the back penalty. Instead, they would have to start from their 47. 2 plays later, Ringelberg was intercepted on his 45, giving the Dogs a short field to work with. 2 plays later, Greendale's Mitchell Breeze would pick off a Bulldog pass and return it all the way to the Cedarburg 17. 2 plays later, Ringelberg would take it in by himself on a 6-yard scamper for Greendale's 7th touchdown of the game. The extra point was blocked, making the score 51-27 with 8:45 left in the game. After the ensuing kick, the Bulldogs found themselves starting on their 22. 13 plays and a lot of time later, they reached the end zone on a 6-yard run by Giles Groves. The try for 2 failed, making the score 51-33 with 3:54 remaining in the game. After the failed pooch-style onside kick, Greendale would take over on their 39. 2 plays later, a pitch was mishandled, resulting in a fumble, of which Cedarburg would recover on the Panthers' 30. The Panthers' defense rose to the challenge, forcing the Dogs to turn the ball over on downs with 2:04 left in the game. Greendale now took possession on a 37. All it took was 3 plays for Greendale to run the clock out, securing their first victory of the season. Your final score would be Greendale 51, Cedarburg 33. In the end, several things happened. Greendale was able to strike quickly through the air, forcing Cedarburg out of their ball control style offense. By doing so, the Bulldogs had to rely on going to the air, which is something they would rather avoid. The Panthers' defense, even though they gave up 33 yards, did the best they could to make life miserable for Cedarburg and to make them work hard for every single yard. Cedarburg also had a lot of turnovers, which resulted in short fields for Greendale, which isn't something you want to do with the Panthers' high-powered offense. The Panthers have another non-conference game next week against our neighbor to the south, the Franklin Sabres. The Sabres also have a high-powered offense led by one of the top quarterbacks in the area in Sean McGuire. This game has all the makings of being one of the best in the area next week. You can expect a lot of scoring, which spectators always enjoy. This game is at Greendale and will start at 7 o'clock. You better get there early or you just might find yourself standing. That's it from Greendale. See you next week. So long.